For as long as humans have looked up at the sky, the sun has been the one constant, rising, setting, marking time itself. Every civilization built its calendar around it. Every farmer trusted it. Every king ruled by it. And yet, buried in the ancient records of humanity is a story so disturbing, so impossible, that modern science still struggles to explain it. A story claiming that on a single day in history, the sun stopped moving. Not slowed, not dimmed, but stopped. The account is short, almost casual, yet its implications are enormous. It suggests a disruption not just of time, but the laws that govern the universe. If true, it would mean Earth's rotation was altered, the sky defied physics, and human history intersected with a cosmic anomaly beyond our understanding. The most famous record comes from an ancient Hebrew text, the Book of Joshua. According to the account, a battle was underway. The enemy was retreating. Victory was close, but daylight was fading. And then Joshua spoke words that would echo through history. Sun, stand thou still upon Gibeon, and thou, moon, in the valley of Ajalon. And according to the text, the sun did exactly that. It says the sun stood still in the midst of heaven and did not hasten to go down for about a whole day. The writer adds something chilling. There had never been a day like it before nor since, when the Lord listened to the voice of a man. For centuries, this was dismissed as metaphor, poetry, or religious exaggeration. But the problem is this: Joshua's account is not alone. Across the world, in civilizations that had no contact with one another, eerily similar stories appear. Stories of a long day, a missing night, a sun that refused to set. In ancient Egypt, texts speak of a time when the sun lingered unnaturally in the sky. Chinese records describe a disruption of celestial order, when the heavens behaved strangely and time itself seemed altered. In ancient Greece, Herodotus wrote of Egyptian priests telling him that the sun had changed its course multiple times in the past, rising where it once set. Even more unsettling are the legends of the Americas. Among the Inca, there are oral traditions of a prolonged day that threw the world into chaos. The Aztecs spoke of a previous age when the sun did not move as expected, bringing destruction. Native American tribes, particularly the Hopi, tell stories of a time when the world went out of balance, when the sky changed and time stretched unnaturally long. These are not stories of darkness or eclipses. They are stories of too much light. So the question becomes unavoidable. Did ancient people across the globe independently invent the same impossible story? Or were they describing the same real event, filtered through different cultures and languages? Science immediately raises an objection. If the sun truly stopped in the sky, it would require Earth to stop rotating. Such a sudden halt would unleash catastrophic consequences. Oceans would surge across continents. The atmosphere would continue moving at over 1,000 miles per hour, tearing the surface of the planet apart. Everything not anchored to bedrock would be destroyed. And yet, ancient records do not describe global annihilation, which forces us to consider a terrifying alternative. What if the sun did not stop, but appeared to stop? Modern physics tells us that time, motion, and perception are not as absolute as we once believed. Under extreme gravitational or electromagnetic conditions, time itself can stretch, compress, or distort. Astronauts aboard the International Space Station experience time slightly slower than those on Earth. Near a black hole, time nearly freezes. Could Earth have passed through a cosmic phenomenon that altered the flow of time locally or globally? One theory suggests an intense electromagnetic disturbance. The sun is not just a ball of fire. It is an electromagnetic engine. Solar flares, coronal mass ejections, and plasma storms constantly interact with Earth's magnetic field. A sufficiently powerful event could disrupt Earth's rotation speed without stopping it completely, extending daylight for hours. Another hypothesis involves a near pass by a large celestial body. Ancient texts across cultures speak of a destroyer, a celestial dragon, or a wandering star that appeared suddenly in the sky. Some researchers suggest that a comet or rogue planetary object may have passed close enough to Earth to temporarily affect its rotation or axis. This idea sounds like science fiction, until we remember that Earth has experienced violent cosmic encounters before. Asteroid impacts, solar superstorms, magnetic pole shifts. The universe is not gentle. In fact, NASA has acknowledged that Earth narrowly avoided catastrophe in 1859 during the Carrington event, a solar storm so powerful it set telegraph wires on fire. If such an event occurred today, it could cripple the planet technologically. Now imagine a solar event thousands of times stronger in the ancient past. There's another unsettling angle: ancient engineering. Many ancient structures are aligned with astonishing precision to the sun's position. Stonehenge, the pyramids of Giza, Machu Picchu, Angkor Wat. These monuments track solar movement with accuracy that rivals modern instruments. Some researchers believe these sites were not merely ceremonial, but observational, built to monitor and record changes in the sky. If the sun truly behaved abnormally, ancient astronomer priests would have noticed immediately, and they recorded it. What makes the Joshua account especially troubling is its specificity. It mentions both the sun and the moon. For the moon to also stand still implies not just daylight extension, but a disruption of orbital mechanics. This suggests the event was not an illusion of light, but something affecting celestial motion itself. Or time. Modern physicists now openly discuss the possibility that time is not linear. Under certain conditions, space-time can stretch. If Earth experienced a localized space-time distortion, perhaps due to an intense gravitational wave or cosmic anomaly, the perception of a long day could occur without catastrophic destruction. To the ancient observer, the sun would appear frozen. To history, time would have slipped. And then there is the most controversial idea of all. What if the event was controlled? Ancient texts often attribute the phenomenon to divine intervention, gods commanding the sky, voices that ruled the heavens, beings who had authority over the sun and moon. While modern minds reject this outright, some researchers ask a different question. What if ancient people described advanced technology in the only language they had? If a civilization possessed the ability to manipulate electromagnetic fields, gravity, or space-time, it would appear godlike. And history is full of uncomfortable gaps. Lost civilizations, erased knowledge, sudden resets. The disturbing pattern is this. After the era in which these long days stories appear, civilizations collapse. Knowledge disappears. Humanity seems to start again. Could the day the sun stood still mark not just a battle, but a global intervention? Or a near-extinction event narrowly survived? Even today, scientists cannot fully account for discrepancies in Earth's rotational history. There are unexplained variations, tiny but measurable. Some researchers quietly admit that something in Earth's ancient past does not add up. The sun, our most reliable clock, may have failed once, and if it happened before, it could happen again. The ancients did not record this story to entertain us. They preserved it as a warning, a reminder that the universe is not under our control, that time itself is fragile, and that there are forces, natural or otherwise, that can rewrite reality in a single day. The sun rose again. Time resumed. History moved on. But somewhere in humanity's buried memory is the knowledge that once, just once, the sky broke its rules, and the world was never the same. For as long as humans have looked up at the sky, the sun has been the one constant, rising, setting, marking time itself. Every civilization built its calendar around it. Every farmer trusted it. Every king ruled by it. And yet, buried in the ancient records of humanity is a story so disturbing, so impossible, that modern science still struggles to explain it. A story claiming that on a single day in history, the sun stopped moving. Not slowed, not dimmed, but stopped. The account is short, almost casual, yet its implications are enormous. It suggests a disruption not just of time, but the laws that govern the universe. If true, it would mean Earth's rotation was altered, the sky defied physics, and human history intersected with a cosmic anomaly beyond our understanding. The most famous record comes from an ancient Hebrew text, the Book of Joshua. According to the account, a battle was underway. The enemy was retreating. Victory was close, but daylight was fading. And then Joshua spoke words that would echo through history. Sun, stand thou still upon Gibeon, and thou, moon, in the valley of Ajalon. And according to the text, the sun did exactly that. It says the sun stood still in the midst of heaven and did not hasten to go down for about a whole day. The writer adds something chilling. There had never been a day like it before nor since, when the Lord listened to the voice of a man. The sun finally slips below the horizon, and night returns to the world. But something has changed. The darkness feels heavier, as if the sky itself remembers what just happened. The stars reappear, one by one, cautious, distant. Civilizations breathe again, yet unease lingers. No celebration follows. No songs are sung. Because when the sun disobeys the rhythm of the heavens, humanity understands a truth it cannot unlearn. Time is not guaranteed. In the days that follow, ancient observers watch the sky with renewed fear. Priests mark the shadows more carefully. Astronomers carve deeper lines into stone. Kings demand answers from the heavens. The sun rises and sets again, but trust has been broken. Something powerful has revealed itself. Something capable of interrupting the most reliable force in human existence. Across the world, the event is etched into memory, not as myth, but as warning. In Egypt, records speak of an age when order, known as Ma'at, was disturbed, when the balance between heaven and earth trembled. The sun god Ra, usually invincible, was said to have paused, weakened, challenged by forces unseen. Temples multiplied. Rituals intensified. The sky could not be taken for granted again. In Mesopotamia, scribes etched omens into clay tablets, signs of celestial rebellion. When the sun lingers, they wrote, kingdoms fall. When the moon fails to move, blood follows. These were not poetic metaphors. They were survival manuals. Far away, in the high Andes, the memory lived on through stone and silence. The Inca believed the sun could abandon humanity if balance was lost. That belief did not come from imagination. It came from experience, from a day when light refused to fade. Even among early Chinese astronomers, the mandate of heaven was believed to be reflected in the sky's behavior. A sun that disobeyed its path meant heaven was displeased. Dynasties would rise and fall based on celestial stability. And after this event, sky watching became law. The pattern is impossible to ignore. After the long day, humanity changes. Monuments grow larger. Alignments become more precise. Stone becomes scripture. Knowledge is guarded, restricted, passed only to the initiated. The sky is no longer beautiful. It is dangerous. Generations pass. The story fades from public memory, but survives in fragments. Scriptures, myths, oral traditions whisper to children who are never told the full truth. Because how do you explain to the next generation that the sun once stopped and no one knows why? And then comes a silence. Civilizations collapse. Libraries burn. Languages disappear. Entire eras fall into darkness. The people who understood the sky vanish, and those who come after inherit ruins without instructions. Modern humanity awakens thousands of years later, confident, technological, certain. We build clocks more precise than ancient sundials. We place satellites in orbit. We measure the sun, model it, name its storms. And yet, the ancient fear returns. Scientists discover evidence of massive solar events buried in tree rings and ice cores, spikes in radiation that should not exist, dates that quietly align with ancient catastrophe myths, times when Earth was struck by something far more violent than anything recorded in modern history. One such event, now known to science, occurred around 774 AD, a solar storm so powerful it left a global radiation signature. If it happened today, it would collapse power grids worldwide. But ancient people survived it. Barely. How many events like that came before recorded history? And what if one of them didn't just burn the sky, but bent time itself? Physics now admits that extreme cosmic forces can stretch seconds into hours. Gravitational waves ripple through space-time constantly, remnants of distant cosmic collisions. Most pass unnoticed, but a sufficiently strong wave, close enough, could distort reality in ways our instruments have never measured. To ancient eyes, the sun would freeze. To history, a day would stretch beyond its bounds. And then there's the most disturbing realization of all. Earth does not move through a calm universe. Our solar system travels through space at immense speed, passing through regions we barely understand. Clouds of plasma, magnetic turbulence, gravitational shadows left by ancient cosmic events. We assume stability because we have known it for a moment, but ancient people may have known otherwise. They saw the sky misbehave. They saw time falter, and they survived long enough to warn us. Today, as we stand beneath the same sun, we rarely look up with reverence. We trust tomorrow without question, but the universe has never promised consistency. The sun is not obligated to rise. Time is not obligated to flow. Somewhere in humanity's forgotten past is proof that reality can pause. And if it happened once, it can happen again. The sun sets tonight, just as it always has. Clocks tick forward. Screens glow. Cities sleep. But above us, the sky remains vast, ancient and indifferent,